Good morning, everyone. How's it going? So, my name is Justin Donaldson. I am painting. We are doing a little, we're doing a little tour through Japan, at least digitally, right? So, I can't afford to travel to Japan. That kind of sucks. But we're gonna start in Yakushima Island and do a whole bunch of digital plein air painting. And I'm really excited about it. So, yeah, feel free to ask any questions. While I'm here, this little adventure is supported by my patrons, so feel free to come and join me on Patreon. Hi, Rainy and Son. Nice to see you guys. So, here is our reference today. It's this little rice. No, not rice. It's a tea field. Beautiful place. Yeah, so we're gonna start painting. While I'm here, feel free to ask any questions. That's kind of what I'm here for. I'd love to chat, get to hear, get to see things. Yeah. So it is. I'm gonna start this by wetting the page a bit. I need to choose a brush that's not actually doesn't actually already have paint on it. Let me see. So what have you guys been up to? Alright, looks like this brush does have a little bit of paint on it. So wetting the page is going to help me to have a little more time where my paint is fluid. So I'm going to make the most of that. Most of it I can. I think I'm going to try not make it too wet today. I think the past couple I've extended that time period too long. But oh well. Let's see. We're looking pretty good. Yeah, so feel free to ask any questions while we're here. I'm gonna make sure I can actually see everything. There we go. All right. I think that's it. I don't think I actually want my painting to be this big. I'm going to position it and I'm going to tape it down. Make sure that's in the right spot. Make sure my camera's getting nice. Yeah. There we go. So I'm excited about the new year. I don't know about you guys. I seem to be typing. Yeah, so feel free to ask me questions. Looks like we got a number of you around. That's exciting. Let's see, here's my tape. I'm actually going to make it significantly smaller than this page. Because you know what? I want to finish it. Oh. Lol. I gotta fix this camera. Yes, my camera is a phone. I don't know why it wants me. There we go. So yeah, hopefully this year I'm going to be... Let's see, what do I want to change this year from last year? I think I want to... Obviously I want to be producing more video content. And I want to... I don't know, just connect with people a bit more. Connect with my people. Whoever and wherever they might be. I'd love to hear suggestions about groups of people who love nature, love finding peace and quiet in nature, and love anime backgrounds. There's a crossover there somewhere, I just don't know exactly where it is. And I don't know exactly how to find them. Alright. So that's good, I think. I need some music. Maybe not. Nope, here we go. All right. So I think I've given it enough time now to kind of cool down, get rid of some of this water. Let's make sure this one's still good. Nope. I already told you not now. Do not ask again. Alrighty. So let's look at this. Let's look at this for a second. We've got a bunch of elements in. We've got the sky. They want to come in. I'll probably make it a little more blue than that. And here it's washed out. And the mountain that fades into the sky in the background. And then we've got the tea fields at the front. Those are kind of our biggest elements. Come on. Maybe I've told no enough. They'll actually listen to me. There we go. Mackie C says, what weight paper do you use? This is a... I think it's 120 pound from Etcha. This is actually ripped out of a sketchbook. Alright, so I think I'm going to start with the sky. So I want it bluer than it is in the reference, but still light enough that the mountains come out at the front. So that's going to be a bit of a tricky thing to do. I'll try and prepare some of this stuff beforehand. Before I go and put it down, because I want to put it down pretty quick. Alrighty. So let's do this. So clearly I don't need to do all of it at the moment. There's just this area up here that I'm going to do. Yeah, on the paper front, I like hot press papers, because hot press papers will just allow me. Look, there's a lot of reflections there. There we go. Hot press papers are going to allow me to control what's going on a bit more, get a bit more smooth, a bit more smoothness, which I like. So I can do some nice gradients and stuff. Now this sky isn't going to be too intense. Like, I think this is probably enough, just because it's not the focus of anything. All right. Then I've got the mountains in, and I'm going to pull a little more kind of purple in here. Let's see, you can't really see that, can you? Well, let's do that. Alright, so yeah, I'm pulling a bit more purple into the mountains. But they're not going to be too much dark than everything else. They still need to feel like they're in the background. So that's going to be kind of key to getting this in. And I'll do it now, but the edges aren't going to be very strong because everything's still wet. So if I need to, and it does look like I'm probably going to need to, I'll come back in and strengthen some of those edges when we're dealing with stuff that's a little dry. But I do want to do it now. Like, I do want to paint the mountains now, because I need enough time for it to dry before I pull, the things that are in front of it. And I really just want to establish the relationships of everything in the painting. And while I'm here, I want there to be some definition of what's going on the mountain, but like very, very little. So doing it now when there's room for it to kind of fade into each other and bleed and everything. Oh yeah, I'm bleeding a lot here, so definitely coming back to crisp up that edge. But I think the color relationships in general are pretty good. I like that. Alright. So I've got that. And I'm going to come in with these trees. Trees that are out over here on this side. So they're actually coming in pretty dark here. And with these trees, I'm really going to be pushing a lot of pushing the paint around. Decent Tredicle says, I was looking for this channel. I remember subscribing to it. I completely forgot your name, so I had to wait for you to upload something. Yeah, welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining us. Like I was saying before, feel free to ask any questions you have. I'm here to chat. But we are we're traveling around Japan. Not physically, because that would be too cool. But we're doing a little digital plein air tour. We are in Yakushima Island at the moment. Looking we've just found this. I've been looking over on Google Maps and Google Earth, and I found this. What's it called? Tea field. It's just like so quintessentially traditional Japanese kind of stuff. So good. Izzy, hello! As a mainly digital artist, so cool to get to see your thought process as you paint. Hope this piece gets... Oh, thanks, Izzy. Yeah, I hope it goes well, too. Yeah, I used to do a ton of digital work myself. There's a lot of crossover, but in traditional media, especially in water media, you kind of have to be so aware of the time periods that you're kind of painting in. So I'm going to try and be a little careful with the silhouette that I'm doing now, because I don't... So first of all, these trees are not the focus, so I don't want them to be super crisp, so now is the time to come in and define things. I'd love to not have to come back again and touch these trees. Though I know I probably do some highlighting of some of the stuff that goes on here. But yeah, if I could get most of my stuff here done with these trees now, I'll be thanking myself in the future. Let's have a look, see if I can... Boom. Alright, so I'm going to leave that for here. There's some really nice color stuff going on in there. I wish I had a closer camera to show you that. Nope. Maybe I'll have to try and set one up later. Alright, so there's some stuff in here that I could do. But perhaps I need to do it when it's a little more dry. So Izzy, what kind of things do you paint? Let's come in here. Try and get... Here we go. Alright, so I want to test out, see at what point this stuff here is... Oh, hello. I think I already had a bunch of paint on that. I'm not going to use that. Izzy says, I do hand-drawn 2D animation, some illustration on the sides. Well, sweet. I've never quite done a bunch of animation. I did some work for a game company for a while there. And did little minuscule amounts of it. So I just put this on and realized it is not what I want to do. I was going to come in and try and define the skyline, but I think I need to redefine the mountain. Alright, here we go. And I might still want to wait. Here, I'm going to do this part down here. It's going to be crisper, but I really want the crisp section of this mountain is going to be up here, kind of closer to us. So I'll wait even longer for that part. But I might be able to define some kind of just smaller things that are going on here. But again, I don't really want it to be super defined. I just want to indicate some of the shadows along here. They're shadows and they are just changes in vegetation and rock and stuff. But if I can get them in, at this point they can be kind of nondescript, hide in the background. Alright, I am going to try something. Got a clean brush here. Gotta double check it's actually a clean brush, right? I'm going to push along this edge, which is gonna push some of that paint that decided to seep out back in. Which is good. I think this is actually working pretty well. It is taking some of the sky paint off, but I think that's okay. I think we can fake it as kind of atmosphere as it comes down. All right, so let's come back in and do a little bit more. A little bit more of the trees that are coming around here. I think I need more paint than that. Let's see. Am I actually seeing all the chat? I am. Cool. Well, feel free to ask any questions if you guys have any. And there's some slightly different colored trees here. Less saturated, more in this yellowy orangey range. So I'm going to come in and do a bit of that. At this point, it's kind of a goal to try and cover the page. Not at the cost of anything, but just as a guide to making relationships. You know, that's all about relationships. You can't really tell what's right or wrong until you have those relationships in there. All right. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and start our big field. So this field has a bunch of stuff that looks like it should be opaque. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put just big wet masses down, and I think I'll put in some of those highlights on top. I'm not really going to worry about over-defining it in the moment. I just want to make sure that I have the right kind of values in there. So we're in. We've connected some of these pieces, which is a bit of a risk, but I think it's okay. A risk only in that it might bleed. But if that becomes a problem, I'll come around to it. Got a bit of orange seeping in there, but I don't think that's a problem. All right, so let's get a little bit of those forms in here. Luckily, it's not too wet at this point. I kind of need to figure out a vanishing point. Make sure that, I don't have to be exactly what everything is in the picture, but I do need to be consistent within this picture itself. So horizon's here. Let's kind of do something like that. Might not be the best, but it is not entirely wrong. It's called optimism for you. Okay, so one really cool thing that's happening in this picture is that there's a lot of kind of form. It's not described by a great change in value, but it is consistent. And I want that. I want to do that. So let's do it. So I'm going to come in at the top. And kind of get see if I can get some gradients in here like this. I always prefer to like not brute force it. If I could do it transparently, I will, but I can't always do that. Are you guys doing anything interesting for New Year's? I think we have like a little New Year's lunch thing going on. Alright, so that's in. I know. I always have to push darker in gouache or poster color. Always got to push darker. So I'm going to try and get some of these holes in between the rows. I'm going to push them darker than I want them, but I think once I do that, it will kind of come back and meet me in the middle somewhere. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I don't know if I need to stop saying that. There we go. Oh yeah, okay. So now that I've got like some of this stuff down, I can drag it around just a little bit and create some of that form that I was going for. Hopefully without kind of brute forcing it. I'm always trying to kind of do as much as I can with as little as I can. Because I kind of feel like it's really easy to overdo things. Or like I can make things look like I want them to look, but it always works out better if either the paint does it itself or it's kind of more of a subtle thing. Oh, Horst Parader just followed me. Thank you. Sorry if I terribly destroyed your name. Okay. So I'm going to come back in. Oh, not with that brush, I'm not. I'm going to come back in and see if I can crisp up some of these mountains again. Alrighty. Let's have a look. So up here is really where I want it to be more intense, just because it's closer to us. And I might still have to wait again. I might just wait until it's more of a certain dry scenario. Alrighty. Okay, let's start to bring in this house. It's the exciting part, right? Horst says it's no problem. Close enough to horse. Oh, I forgot the T's. Horst. There you go. Alright. So we're going to come in and get this house going. It's kind of a relatively neutral color. I'm going to make it a little more red than I see here, just because that's going to really kind of counterpoint the green everywhere. Swords and Fjords just followed. Thank you for following. Hope you guys are doing well. Alright, I'm gonna do it transparently first. Alright, so once again, let's kind of make sure that my lines are all meeting at the horizon line. So horizon lines here. Make it. Start getting the house in like that. And I'm really just gonna like push the shape and then come in and try and pick out my colors and everything like that. There we go. So that'll be a good start. And we're almost at a complete page. Arkuda says, "Hi Justin, so glad to have discovered your work. My name is Nora." Hey Nora, how are you doing? I am so glad you discovered my work too. We almost have this page full. Almost. So what I am going to do is I always enjoy taking the tape off. Oh no, it bled a lot. Let's keep the tape on. Oh well, it happens. I was kind of testing out how much water I was going to put in, and I suppose too much. Too much water to begin with. Oh well. Okay. So I want to kind of get some basic value relationships in this house. To at least help describe kind of the three-dimensional quality of it. Horst says, helpful and fascinating watching you. I've not done much watercolors and always try to control and force things. Using too much like acrylics or markers. Yeah, I think it's always a play. It's always a play between kind of getting what you want. Well, you're always trying to get what I want. How much can I predict? And how much can I like get the medium to do what I want for me? But yeah, absolutely. It's always a struggle. Always. And when I first started using watercolor of any variety, that's like definitely the lesson. I feel like most mediums have like a lesson that they can teach you. And definitely watercolor's lesson is let the watercolor just do its job. Let the paint do its job. And then you move back to something like oil, and then you start questioning, well, what's the oil actually trying to do? Which I never used to ask. Nora says, are you using gouache or poster color on Nick brand? Yeah, actually, this is Nick brand poster color. That's exactly what it is. I do a decent amount of paint hopping, but lately poster color has definitely been my favorite. I'm trying to get a color I want to use. The color for this stuff is for these roofs here. This roof, it's relatively neutral. But I'm thinking that it faces the sky, so it's probably going to end up having a lot of that cool blue to it. And if I use that cool blue, then I can easily differentiate like what's the roof versus what's the walls. Nora says, can you please explain what's the difference between gouache and poster colors? I don't really understand the difference. There's not much of a difference. The biggest difference is the way that it reactivates, in my experience. So I have this set. Let's see. I have this set that I take with me wherever I go, and it reactivates in very much the same way that it activates in the first place, which is really good for going out and painting plein air and stuff like that. Yeah, it's got a little more pigment. Oh, I think my paper's finally starting to dry enough to use. Yeah, it's got a bit more pigment, and the pigments lay on top of the paper, which ultimately doesn't make a huge deal of a difference. If you use really smooth papers, you can take the paint off a lot better than I would gouache, with the gouache that kind of sinks in. But for most purposes, basically the same stuff. But its reactivating qualities are like super valuable to me because I go out and I paint all the time. There we go. I maybe should have used some more. Next time I do a big mountain like this, I think I'm going to use more paint to kind of push. My hands are in the way. Because I love the like vitality. Oh, Klepstock followed me. Klepstock, thank you so much for following me. Space Astronomy Kid says, hi, I just woke up and I slept 10 hours last night. That's because I was swimming really hard at my fitness center. That sounds awesome. One day, I'll get good sleep again. One day. But you know, I got kids. So that happens. Alright. I'm glad someone out there is getting good sleep. You never know how good it is until it's gone. Isn't that what they say? Nora says, thank you for answering that for me. I do a lot of plein air with my gouache palette and find that just a spray of water is enough to reactivate. Oh, good. Do you get that kind of chalky quality to it? Or do you get like super smooth So I'm coming in now and going to put this extra layer of paint in here. It's going to help me to redefine some of the detail on the trees that got lost. Nora says, I'm Norcag on Instagram. Oh, sweet. Let's have a little look-see. Nora. Cag, there we go. Sweet. Nice to see you. Oh, beautiful. Cool. Thanks for sharing. Nora says, done colors get super smooth like from the tube. M-gram paints especially. Nice. I haven't tried much in the way of like super high quality gouache. So that's good to know some of it kind of acts that way. Ooh. Okay. So there's this thing that I'm always trying to do that I always feel so hesitant to do, is to like paint in a kind of broken way where colors come through from the bottom. Like, I want to do it because I see people do it and it looks amazing, but something in me is always scared to have like little blocks of colors. Nora says she spent most of her life doing watercolors inside gouache about a year ago. Totally in love with it. Isn't it nice? I started using gouache and poster color because I didn't want my kids to get into my oils. I was kind of a bit scared of that. And then every time I would start to go out to paint, I would think about all the effort that I'd be putting into going out to paint, because like bringing things with me, trying to make sure nothing touches, make sure my whole car doesn't get full of stuff. And I'd end up just not going because I'd be afraid of all this kind of stuff. And so I realized that I'd actually need to change things, because like more than anything else I want to paint. So I need to get some of those mental blocks out of the way. So I started trying to find things that would let me do that. And this is what I came up with. Sorry, my hand was in the way. Let's see. There we go. Gotta get back to seeing what you guys are saying. Cool. Alright, so here we are. Gouache and poster color and stuff, they have this weird thing that I never really experienced with oils, where you're really working in kind of like these little time periods, and I'll do something and then I'll leave and then I'll come back, and then I'll leave and I'll come back, and it's weird because it especially when people are watching, it doesn't make much sense, like why I need to leave, why I need to come back. Such a juggling act. Space astronomy kids. Last night I did have troubles falling asleep because I felt really excited. In 31 days I'll be joining Delaware Special Olympics swimming team. That is so cool. I never did well at sports. But that's just me. It's so cool that you get to do that. Put some of these trees under their trunks. They do call them as Team USA. So exciting. Have you been swimming for long? Is this a long-term dream come true? Okay. Now we can come in and start to do a lot of refining. Let's see if we're up there. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to come in with a bit more of a light green. Just to kind of refine some of these edges here. I kind of want it to be a big clump. I don't want it to get too much attention, but I do want some definition, some degree of definition. Nora says, the last few minutes in a painting with gouache where it starts to come, isn't that nice? And there's those middle minutes where nothing looks or feels right. We're just sweating. The ugly stage. Which every painting goes through. Space Astronomy Kid says, at midnight tonight on New Year's Eve, it will be my 5th year of competitive swimming. Swimming for fun. Sweet. Alright. Let's get a little more. I want this to be a little less obvious than what just happened right there. It's happy mistakes that hopefully stay happy, right? A little definition into all these trees here. Nora says, do the postcards have good light fondness? Are they better for sketching or reproductions? If you want to be really sure, I'd definitely go with gouache. I've been talking to the people at Shinhan about light fastness, and they said they haven't tested, but people keep asking, so they're going to try and do some testing. Swords and Fjord says, what's my favorite mumble rapper? I'm not sure that I have a favorite mumble rapper. I'd say the only... I don't even know. I honestly don't listen to much rap. I'm sorry to disappoint. Who's your favorite mumble rapper? And what do you like about it? Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I'm curious. I love hearing what people love about the things that they love. Nick Shrew, thank you for following. That's super cool. Welcome. Nora says, I'm betting you'd love the Artist Craig washes. I'm betting I would. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it one day. Slits and Fjords says, POS of course. Nobody's Business is amazing. Well, I'll have to check them out. I love when people love things, are passionate about things. It's just there's something about it. Something about that joy of loving something. Alright. Yeah, okay. This is starting to pull together. Or at least some of this is. Okay. Let's get into this house. I'm going to try... Let's see if I can pull this camera a little closer. Yes. There we go. As we get into this house, okay. This house is good and all, but I need to start working a little more opaquely in it. Space Astronomy Kit says, not only will I be swimming and racing again, last night at my fitness center I did get permission from my swim coach to teach the kids how to swim. That's cool. Starting to gain some responsibility. Getting pushed up the ranks. That always feels nice. That's really cool. Alright. So I'm trying to get a bit of a gradient in here. I want to make sure that I'm preserving the warm, cool temperature shift that we had going on. Where the shadows here are significantly warmer. So and then the light down the bottom significantly cooler. Apparently this camera is right in my way, but oh well. Nora says, I give you credit for chatting and painting at the same time. Lol, not easy. No, not at all. Especially when I first started, I was terrible. I feel like I'm starting to get better. What I really need to do is learn how to speak and not destroy my voice. Because I end up getting to the end of a stream and then just being like croaky. Okay, let's go. I did need to get darker. Need that like top of that shadow. Space Astronomy said she did mention that would be so helpful for the team. And you win medals for the team and you get to compete in events and relays. So cool. Swords and Fjords, can you do a process video or stream on those emergent vibrant green jungle plants in the shade one day? Absolutely. Which ones are you talking about? Which jungle plants? I do a lot of plants, so I'm not entirely sure which ones you're referring to. The ones using in those trailer videos. On the iPad? You might have to send me a link. Because the answer is yes. I'd love to help and do those. Whoa, Planet Prudence is rating on Twitter. Thank you, Planet Prudence. So, we are going on a little painting tour through Japan. We are here on Yakushima Island, and Nora says she needs to go. Thank you, Nora. It's been so good. Yeah, absolutely. Come and say hi anytime. Yeah, so we're painting in Japan. Well, not actually Japan. I'm in the States. But I can't afford to go. Am I Bob Ross? No. But we're doing some painting. I'm excited. We are painting this field right here. It's this old Japanese tea field. So that's really cool. So at the moment, we're actually focusing in on getting this house done. Thank you, Planet Prudence. I appreciate that. How was your stream? Did you have any fun? What kind of things did you do? We're here. At this point, luckily, I think we're a little bit over the ugly point. Not into the detail point yet. Stream was amazing. Thank you. Made comics on stream. That is super cool. Greetings from Spain. Love your art, by the way. Thank you, Nixru. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. All right. Space Astronomy Kid is really excited. Always good to be excited. Wish I was more excited more of the time. Alright. Got this camera right in my face. I can't see in some crucial places. But yeah, has anyone actually been to Japan? I'd love to go. Planet Prudence has to go and finish some work before New Year's Eve. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for coming in. Enjoy your New Year's Eve too. I'll see you guys later. Well, I'll see you later, Prudence. If anyone else has any questions, feel free to ask. I'm going to try and start getting the structure of this. Merry New Year. The structure of this house going on. Not always the most exciting thing, apparently. But I'm excited about it. So yeah, what's the comic about? What's Prudence's comic about? I'd love to hear. So I'm going to start kind of trying to push these values. Getting the values to a point where they can read really well. The Fleur says, eating chocolate. Is the comic about eating chocolate? Or are you eating chocolate? Ultimately, I don't care because eating chocolate is amazing. And whether you're with a comic about it or you're doing it, man, I wish I had chocolate right now. It was about eating chocolate. It's so cool. Man, that would just make me so hungry trying to watch that. Alright. So I'm really trying to withhold the temptation of like coming in here and getting the details down like immediately. I'm gonna try and build the structure of this house first. Big to small, big to small. It's the only way, but it is so tempting to come back in and make it larger. Wish I was eating it though. Yes. Adriel, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to getting to know you. Alright. What's the giant anime mech in all of this? Whoa, where is it? Yeah, I know, right? He's about to crash into the mountain. We're gonna get a glimpse of him. No, I'm not sure. I'd love to learn to do like the cell painting, so I could paint some characters over all my backgrounds and make them look right. All right, I'll see you in a minute, Adriel. Danae, hi. Says her internet sucks, but Danae's trying to watch. Thank you for joining. All right, we are pulling this building together. All right, let's get this shadow up here. think I want to lighten up some where the light's hitting at the bottom of this. I feel like it doesn't quite match the rest of it. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I think that works really well. But you guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Feel free to ask. I'd love to hear what everyone's doing for New Year's. I have a New Year's lunch that I'm going to, but I'm not sure if I'm doing much else. I'm gonna try and use my finger, or I could do a dry brush, but I actually like some of the textures that come out when I use my finger. Honestly, I'll happily use anything that helped get the right texture. So I'm gonna, let's see, wipe off a bunch of the paint here, because you're gonna get some of that like straw feeling. Get some of that texture in. Let's get more paint off still. There we go. Man, I really need like a really close-up cam. Some of the stuff you guys just can't see. And that is unfortunate. Alright. So there is this... Oh, looks like I brushed some of that down there. Danae uses fingerprint paints. If anyone tries to claim peace, I'll have a fingerprint. Yeah, me too. I will use anything it takes to get the right textures, right effects. I remember putting up a picture in a video of me painting, and somebody was like, "Oh, you weren't happy with what was going on." I was like, "No, it was not that I wasn't happy. I really wanted that fingerprint." Somebody said that they couldn't get onto the YouTube stream because they didn't have a G Suite something. I'll have to figure that out later. Alright. Oh, I'm seeing now that there's like this little like cover on the top up here. There we go. Okay, I don't want to spend too much time on this just because you guys can't see it very well. Let's get around to the big picture again. There's this siding on the house I need to get to. Needs to make it a little bit more warmer than that. Let's see how that goes. Now a bit darker. Space Astronomy Kid says, "I just wish I could do the swimming meet, because in high school I would always come in last and my flip turn would either be too slow Or I'd miss the wall in my flip 10. I always thought flip 10s were so fun. My favorite part. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, okay, this is what I want. I tried to find some of these like beams. Here we go. So these little details that, I don't know, give us a sense of realism. Turn it from just being a box into something a little more interesting. Yeah, that did a lot of help in doing that. Okay. There's this like, I don't know, like little places where the thatching is like doubled over. Adriel's back. Welcome back. How was your trip? Little extravagant trip there. All right. I'm gonna put like a little pathway next to here. Alright, I still think I need to lighten up some of these areas. I think since I put that siding in, siding was inherently dark. So I'm going to do this, and I think that it's going to pull down, because gouache, as it dries, it gets lighter. Well, at least the darks get lighter, the lights get darker. So these lights are going to get darker. I think they're going to be pretty spot on by the time I get to it. There's a... address says I just had to do the dishes. Luckily there wasn't many. I'm glad there weren't many. It's just one of those necessary evils. Alright, so I'm going to leave the house here for now and try and come in maybe with some of these bushes beside it and back in with the field. See how far we can go. Now that everything's a lot drier, get some big picture look at this. So what do we want? What do we need? I think in this reference I've got little gully or valley is the wrong word for it, but there's a trench, I think, between the house and the field. So I want to put that in. I'm totally ignoring this thing down there that's like red thing. I don't know what it is. I'm more than happy to ignore it. Just keep on training, Space Anatomy Kid. It's the only way to do. It's the only way to do it. Keep going for it. Danae says a little bit of lighting on the side did a lot to make the roof and porch pop out. Nice. Yeah, I'm really glad about that. That worked out really well, and I might end up doing a little bit more on the roof, or maybe just in framing the house in general. At the moment, it's like a bit of a dark splotch. So I'm thinking about how I can make it stand out by just providing some stuff around it that might make it pop. You need something to help keep you motivated. Goals help. Let's see. What keeps you guys all motivated when doing something? My emotional state as a whole is an amazingly vital part of all that. So some of these trees in there. You know what? I think I need to come back in and there's very little difference between the values, or there's too much blending going on here. I probably should have. Might add a touch of warm yellow to that siding. Yeah, absolutely. Get it feeling a little more wooden. And first, while that's drying a little, I'm gonna come in and too light. Get this in here. Alright, that's a little helpful in not having the trees feel like they're just bleeding into the background. I'm gonna see if I can light it up just a touch, see if I get a bit more contrast in there. See how far I can push that. So that's nice. It's a little gimmicky, but I think that's okay for here and now. Get a little yellow wash in here. Yellow orangey. Volksy, hey, how you doing? It's great to see this live. I absolutely love your work so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, we are painting a scene from Japan. It's a tea field. Okay, let's have a look. Now instead of come back in and get some of the tea field in the front. We've really left that quite a while. Phelpsy says, Phelpsy's doing quite well, just waking up. Hope you're doing good as well. I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good. Today's a good day so far. Okay, so far this is really transparent. We're gonna force this. Phelpsy says the colors are just fantastic. Thank you. I appreciate that. Ooh, but now you say that, some of that purple that I just put in is darkening as it dries. Whoa! Does not need to be that light. Let's see how that dries. Let's see. Okay. So now we're playing the brute force game. So I'm putting these colors down. Actually needs to be a bit warmer for what I'm trying to do. And then I'm going to come in over top and pull in my lights. And actually I like this exaggerated kind of shadow that's fading out, this gradient that's coming out at the top here. So I might leave that. But we'll see. Let's find out. Find the green that we want to use. It's almost going to be more of a minty green just because it's going to be a nice cool green. So let's have a look. Man, my paper's buckled a bit here. Now's the time where there's going to be a lot of exaggeration going on. And I think that's okay. I'm thinking this might be an interesting process. We'll see. Cross our fingers and hope for the best, right? How we do it. So try to find like an intermediary color that's going to come in between that dark and that light. Man, this buckling is really getting in the way here. I suppose now that the paper dried pretty well, that's what we got. But it is giving me a good place to start. This is the part I'm looking forward to. I love your plant. Oh, thank you. I always want to go outside when I look at your work. So do I. Man, I went out to the gardens yesterday and it's been getting cold, so I haven't been going out and doing stuff much lately. But I went to the gardens yesterday and my body was just like rewarding me. I was like getting chills and all sorts of crazy stuff. It's like, I don't know about why I made the way that I made, but man, my body just loves being outside, being in nature, having like beautiful things to look at. Which I'm not going to complain. If there's a way that I can know that my body's going to feel good, then that's... Oh. Sorry, I started knocking this camera. Okay, let's see if we get a better angle. Alright. So I'm going to come in with a darker green. I'm trying to keep in mind that in this picture all my shadows are warmer. So I'm going to try and find the warmer everything. Which is unfortunate because actually the dark greens that I have are cool. But I think we'll make it work. Alright, so as this field is getting closer to us, I'm going to allow it to be a bit darker. It's going to help communicate that these parts are closer to us. They're still relatively nondescript. I have this like tatted old brush that I'm going to use for adding texture, adding a bit of random quality to it all. Oops. Here we go. Okay, these tea leaves are trimmed like super far down. It's interesting to see. I mean, I suppose they're harvesting the leaves from the top. Makes sense. It's just not what I would expect. Alright. So I'm going to try to now kind of do the highlights kind of on the other side. Nate says, I'd like to know more about your sensory processing someday. If you're comfortable talking about it, I have asparagus, though most they don't guess it. My sensory processing is a huge part of me. It destroys me. It destroys me. But at the same time, I feel like the peace that I require, because everything is just going crazy in my senses, is a huge part of my art as well. It's a huge part of why everything that I do is like in this crazy search for peace and calm. But basically, my brain does a terrible job at distinguishing when something is important, when something's not important. So I end up having my body tell me that things are like you're in danger, you're in trouble, get out of there. And my heart starts pounding, I start sweating. My brain does that thing where it's like, man, this thing's really dangerous, you need to like be aware of it, think about it. Like, I cannot get my mind off of, you know, some mundane sound or sensory, or something touching my skin. It's like everything goes nuts. And it sucks because I have like a wife and 2 kids and dogs, and everything is, my body perceives everything as dangerous. I'm working on like the emotional side of that. How do I control at least a little bit of my emotions when regarding that, getting into an overwhelmed state? Because being overwhelmed is traumatic. And so you have a whole lifetime of being overwhelmed, and clearly there's like trauma involved. And so you have this whole bunch of traumatic reactions which are kind of triggered by things but aren't actually the immediate result of the things. They're a result of years worth of emotions about the things. So you got like this big onion layered craziness. Craziness. Wish I knew more about how to deal with it. I'm on a ketogenic diet because that helps sometimes. I mean, it helps all the time, but it helps me to be normal sometimes. If I wasn't on it, I would be more hyped up, more amped up more often. What does I mean, not that you have a good output for speaking at the moment, but how does aspergus affect your sensory processing? I know that it does. I know that there's a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of conditions that destroy sensory processing. Oh my, poor us. Okay, let's have a look. Man, there's some things I want to do here. I'm not sure I'm ready to. I'm not sure I'm in a position to. Denise says, I'm so used to either being traumatized over nothing that when there's a real issue, I handle it better than others. Very practiced at being traumatized. Yeah, that's right. I'd love to say that it helps me. I'd like to think that it does in some ways. I want to add a little more kind of color variation into a bunch of these areas, because I think that would help it feel a lot more natural instead of everything just feeling like green, 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 green. Let's just have a look. Man, I can see so much that needs to be done, but I just don't have time. Today, if you have specific questions, I'd be more than happy to answer. All right. I'm gonna grab brush. That's gonna be a little less neat and tidy. So I've got this calligraphy brush here. Provide me with a lot more random detail. That way I don't need to come up with the detail. Okay, let's do some highlights, try and differentiate some of these areas, and then I think we're going to need to be done. So let's have a look. I'm going to highlight the edge of this field. Swords and Fuel says, yo, why aren't you on ArtStation? I'm not on ArtStation for no good particular reason. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. There's so many things that need my attention. Dang, running a business sucks. Painting is good, running a business sucks. But, okay, alright. I'll get on ArtStation. You could be selling art books and prints and all. I do sell prints on my website. I don't have any art books yet. Not yet. I mean, that'll happen. That'll happen eventually. I have prints, originals, and tutorials. Kind of how I currently make my living. Speaking of which, if you guys want to print, if you want to buy this piece, if you want to buy a tutorial, if you want to commission a piece, then just let me know. Stuff you have on Instagram is more than enough for an art book already. You're probably right. You know, you're probably right. Just need to make it happen. I kind of plan on doing a Kickstarter for one. Middle to end of this year. Alright, I think that I want to put more color variation in this guy as well. But I think I'm going to have to be finished here real soon. Thanks, Swords and Fields. I think those are really good ideas. Thanks for the prompting. I need it. Mika says, hello Justin, that's some beautiful art that you do. Thank you so much. Thank you. Unfortunately, I'm actually just about to head out. But you guys feel free to join me on Instagram or Twitter, or follow me on Patreon if you want to help support the work. I have tutorials and prints, originals. Thank you guys so much. I think I'm going to head out. I think this is it for here now. Let's see if we can have a look. There we go. Nice close-up shots. Bam. That's what we got. It's a little messy, but that's life, right? Okay, so let's raid someone. Turned out beautiful. Thank you, Horst.